Welcome to a 30-minute prep yoga flow focused on empowered balance. Take a nice little wiggle out your day, just shake out any stress that's trying to join you in your yoga flow. It is not invited. Let that go. And then grab your mat or towel, whatever you want to do your yoga practice on today, clearing any furniture out of the way and making a nice big space for yourself. Taking off your shoes, coming to the center of your mat and maybe waving your arms around, kicking your legs around, making sure you're not going to hurt yourself or knock anything off that might disrupt your yoga practice today. Perfect. And then we're going to start in child's pose. So coming down to our mat on hands and knees, bringing our big toes to touch, knees nice and wide, relaxing the hips down towards the heels and stretching the arms out in front of you. Resting the forehead on your mat, releasing the belly, no need to hold it in. Relaxing the hips down towards the heels. Reaching the fingertips a little bit further, maybe rolling side to side on your third eye, that space on your forehead between the eyes. Activating that third eye chakra, your connection inward, trusting your own wisdom and your intuition. Breathing deeply here. Just enjoying this stillness. Reminding yourself that you deserve time for yourself. You deserve to be still and breathe deeply. Starting off with a little bit of intentional breath work here. Inhaling in for 4, 3, 4, holding at the top for 7, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhaling out the mouth for 8, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Take yourself through that breath work 2 more times on your own pace. If it's a challenge to hold for 7, just do what you can do. That's totally okay. Don't worry about it. This breath work is a great tool to reduce your heart rate. It can help if you're having trouble falling asleep at night or just need to recenter. Come back to calm and tranquility. On an inhale, stretching your fingertips over to the right top corner of your mat. Maybe planting that left hand on top of right for an extra side body stretch. Pulling back on that left hip, feeling the stretch all through that left side. Breathing into it. Walking your hands back through center, reaching them all the way over to the left, maybe placing that right hand on top, pulling back on that right hip, grounding down and feeling that lovely stretch from the tips of your right fingertips all the way back to that right hip. Breathing here. Walking your hands back through center and then lifting up to a tabletop pose. Knees under hips, wrists under shoulders. Flowing through some cat-cows here. Inhale, lift the tailbone, drop the belly, shine that heart forward. Exhale, round the spine, hug the chin to chest. pressing firmly into your hands like you're trying to pull your hands and knees apart without moving them. Inhale for cow, belly towards your mat. Exhale for cat, making a nice rainbow shape with your spine. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Taking yourself through those flows, following your own breath. Closing the eyes and just feeling into your own body in this moment. Remixing this cat-cow flow up. You're the DJ of your own yoga practice, adding in any funky, fresh new stretches or moves that you would like. Maybe wagging the tail, hip circles, changing the direction of your wrists to stretch them out, gazing over the shoulders. There's no rules, just what feels right to you and your body today. Listening to that and breathing through this sequence. Taking your time to give yourself what you need. There's no rush. When you feel ready, pressing it back down to child's pose. Just for a couple breaths here. Just a loving reminder that child's pose is always here for us. If you feel it whispering and calling to you, find your way here and breathe deeply. Even if you stayed in child's pose for the rest of these 30 minutes and connected this to your breath, you would be crushing this yoga practice. Remembering that giving yourself what you need in the moment is all about the philosophy of yoga, connecting what you need to your breath and what you do with your body, and you're crushing that yoga business. On an inhale, making your way to downward facing dog, pressing into your hands, lifting those feet high, releasing your heels towards the mat. It's okay if they're not touching, bending into each knee, stretching out those hammies. Pressing your heart back towards your thighs, hugging up that belly button, spreading your fingers wide, making sure all parts of your palm are connected to the mat. Relaxing your neck, relaxing your jaw, maybe shaking your head side to side, letting it go. Maybe wiggling the nose, making some silly faces at your feet. Whatever feels good to release that tension we unintentionally hold in our beautiful faces. Then inhale, gaze between your hands, bend the knees and walk your feet all the way up to the top of the mat, taking them nice and wide, about as wide as the mat. Bend deeply in the knees and then sway from side to side, maybe hugging in the elbows or letting your arms dangle. You can also bring your hands to the back of your neck for a little massage or extra back stretch. Whatever feels good, maybe trying out each option and picking the one that's right for you today. Finding any areas that are a little tight, giving them some extra attention and care. Time to loosen up and let go. Reminding those muscles that they're safe. They can loosen, untie, and release. Heel toeing your feet in, hips width distance. That's about 1 or 2 fists. It's always good to check. We often think our hips are way wider than they are. Toes pointing forward, feet are parallel, grounding into the soles of our feet. And on an inhale, root to rise, sweep those arms up overhead. Pinkies rotate in. Maybe a smile. You're so strong and balanced. Exhaling those hands to heart center. Grounding into our right foot, feeling that connection from big toe to pinky toe to your heel. Maybe even visualizing roots growing out from the sole of that right foot. You're so connected. Then on an inhale, lift that left leg up, open those hips and plant the sole of your foot for tree. It can go on your ankle with the toes touching the mat, on your calf. If you're feeling super warm and flexible, you can put it on your thigh, but avoid that knee. We don't want to put any extra pressure on our knee. Since we're just at the beginning of our yoga practice, I recommend placing it on the ankle for some extra support, maybe the calf if you're feeling nice and adventurous in this moment. Grounding down, maybe reaching those arms up to the sky, growing those branches, taking a nice little sway from side to side. If you're looking for an extra balance challenge, you can close the eyes, grounding into that right foot, and then planting that left foot back on the mat. And then exhale, hinge at the hips, straight spine, folding it all the way back down. Inhale for a half lift, flat back, plugging the shoulders into the back, pulling them together, hugging in that belly button, tucking the chin, and then exhale and release it back down to your fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive all the way up to standing. Pinkies rotate in. Again, a big, bright, beautiful smile. Exhaling those hands through heart center. Taking a moment to tell yourself one kind thing, one thing you love about yourself. Filling that heart with happiness before we try a little balance. It's good to feel strong within before we build strong without strength in our bodies. Grounding into that left foot this time, visualizing those roots growing once more, feeling really strong and stable. And then inhale, lift that right leg up, open the hips, and then plant that foot on your ankle with toes touching the mat or on your calf. Breathing, stabilizing, and then growing those branches nice and tall. Pinkies rotate in, maybe taking a nice little tree sway in the breeze, maybe closing your eyes for an extra balance challenge if you like. Feeling really strong and empowered, reminding yourself how valuable and capable you are. Planting that right foot back down on the mat. Exhale, swan dive it down all the way to the ground. Inhale for that half lift, flat back. Exhale and plant your hands, stepping your feet back to plank pose. Preparing for our chaturangas. These are always optional. If they're not feeling good in your body, just skip them. Inhale, lean it forward onto your tippy toes. Exhale and release the knees down, hugging in those elbows as you lower your heart to the mat. Pressing into your hands, lifting the heart back up, leaving the legs on the mat, releasing the tops of your feet to the mat as well. And then exhale for downward dog, curling the toes under, lifting those hips high once more. That is our Chaturanga Dandasana or Vinyasa flow. They are optional. Only do them if you're enjoying them, if they're bringing you that joy, that happiness. If not, just skip them, go straight to down dog or child's pose. Now that we're here in down dog, let's make a little bit of those adjustments in our body, pressing the heart back towards our thighs, maybe bending into the knees, stretching out the hamstrings, releasing the heels towards the mat. Inhale, gaze forward, bend the knees, step or float to the top of your mat. Exhale and fold. Inhale, root to rise, sweep those arms up overhead. Exhaling, hands through heart center, grounding into our right foot, visualizing those roots. Inhale, lift that left knee, open those hips, and then plant for tree, ankle, calf, or thigh, avoiding the knee. Inhale those arms up, growing those strong tree branches, feeling powerful and calm, maybe swaying in the wind, maybe trying to close your eyes for a moment just to see how it feels. If you're feeling a little bit wobbly, no worries. Find an unmoving spot on the floor or wall to send that wobbly energy to a drishti. Inhale, lifting that left knee forward in front of you. And then on an exhale, warrior 3, send it back nice and slow. Flexing those left toes down towards the ground, going for level hips. Pulling that left hip down, right hip up. Arms can extend out in front of you, pulled back behind you, out beside you like airplane wings or at heart center. Again, find that drishti to send that wobbly energy to. You are so powerful. Look, you're flying. You can accomplish anything. So great. You've got this. Then exhale, release those left toes down to the mat. Planting them back behind you, coming into crescent egg, keeping that left heel lifted. Nice deep bend in that right knee. Arms reach up beside you, pinkies rotate in, hugging in that belly button, getting a strong hip lock, pulling that left hip forward, right hip back. Great adjustments. Left heel is lifted, so you're on those left toes. Deep bend on that right knee. So strong. And then on an exhale, float those hands down to frame that right foot. Step it back, lowering through your flow if you like, or skip it all together. No shame in that knee game if it helps you hug in those elbows as you lower through your chaturanga. Taking 2 deep breaths here in downward dog. Feeling proud of all that you just did. You were a tree. You were a flying warrior. You crushed it. Amazing. It's okay if we feel a little bit wobbly when we're learning new things. Just appreciating how brave and fearless we can be, trying things, especially when they're uncomfortable and unfamiliar. Inhale, bend the knees, gaze forward, travel to the top of your mat. Exhale and fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive, sweep those arms up to the top. Pinkies rotate in. Exhale, hands through heart center. Giving yourself another affirming thought, making it different from the one before. Grounding down into your left foot this time, feeling strong and stable, visualizing those roots. Inhale, lifting that right knee up, opening the hips, planting that foot for tree, calf or ankle or thigh, avoiding that knee. Hugging in that belly button, feeling strong and secure in yourself. And then growing those branches up nice and tall, maybe swaying in the wind, maybe challenging your balance, whatever feels good and right to you. Making this your own. This is your yoga practice. Flowing through it in what's right for you. Grounding down into that left foot on an exhale. Inhale, lift that right knee back in front of you. Exhale it back, warrior 3. The slower you go, the steadier you are. Flexing those right toes down to the ground, leveling those hips, pulling that left hip up, right hip down. Maybe bringing those arms out beside you like an airplane wing, or pulling them back behind you, pulling those shoulders together on your back. It's okay if you fall out, just come back. Have a sense of adventure with it. Smile, you're strong, you're flying, you've got this. Give yourself that encouragement in your mind. You're crushing it. And then exhale those right toes down behind you, crescent A. Right heel stays lifted, nice deep bend in the left knee. Getting those level hips, you should feel an engagement, a nice little strength building burn in your inner thighs. Pulling that left hip back, right hip forward, maybe bringing your hands to your hips to check that they're both at the same level. And then inhaling those arms back up beside you, pinkies rotate in, hugging in that belly button, and then exhale those hands down like a windmill, planting them, stepping that left foot back and lowering through your vinyasa flow. Beautiful. Giving yourself that encouragement in your mind. Breathing deeply here. Shaking out the legs and the arms. And then we'll flow through that sequence, 1 breath per movement. Inhale, bend the knees, gaze forward. Step or float to the top of your mat. Exhale and fold. Inhale, root to rise. Sweep those arms up overhead. Exhale those hands through heart center, grounding into your right foot. Inhale, lift that left knee, open it up and plant it for tree. Exhale, grounding into that right foot. Inhale, grow the branches. Exhale, bringing those hands back to heart center. Inhale, lift that left knee out in front of you. And then exhale, send it back. Warrior 3. Inhale those arms out beside you like airplane wings. Exhale, release those left toes down to the mat. Inhale for crescent A. Taking your time, it's okay. And then exhale, float those hands down, lowering through your Chaturanga Dandasana. Great job. You crushed it. Just one more side to flow, feeling empowered and balanced, strong and fearless. And then we'll enjoy some nice juicy stretches and cool it on down. Inhale, gaze forward, bend the knees, travel to the top of your mat. Exhale and fold. Inhale, root to rise. Sweep those arms up overhead. Exhale those hands through heart center, grounding into your left foot this time. Inhale, lift that right leg, open it up for tree, planting it on your calf or ankle. Exhale and ground down into that left foot. Feeling strong and balanced. Inhale, grow those branches up, maybe a little sway. Exhale, bring those hands back through heart center. Inhale, lift that right knee out in front of you, and then exhale, warrior 3, sending that right leg back behind you, toes flexed down. Inhale those strong airplane wings out, you're flying. Exhale, release those right toes down to the mat. Inhale, crescent A, warrior. Exhale, vinyasa. Amazing. So strong. Feeling pride as you lower, letting that happiness and strength within radiate all over your body, seeing it as a yellow shimmering light, like a nice sparkle. Maybe a little pride wiggle in downward dog, shaking it out. You crushed it. So incredible and powerful. Inhale, right leg lifts up behind you. Exhale for pigeon, right knee behind right wrist, stretching that right calf across the mat, releasing the left leg out behind you, lifting your heart high, checking both hips are pointed forward, and then exhale, releasing down, maybe resting your forehead on your arms or your hands, making yourself as comfortable as you can. The more comfy, cozy you feel, the easier it is for your muscles to relax. Just like you, if you're sitting on a nice comfortable couch, it's way easier to relax than an uncomfortable box. Making yourself as comfortable as you can, breathing deeply, sending love and care to any muscles that feel tight or congested. We often store our emotional experiences in our hips. So if thoughts come up in pigeon, just set them to the side or open your mouth on an exhale and let them go. Let them out of your body, release them back to the universe. They're coming up in your mind, your body's telling you you don't need to carry them around with you anymore. You can let them go, let them out. Pressing into the hands, curling those left toes under, lifting back up, three-legged dog, stretching that right leg out in front of you, shaking it out, lifting those hips high, right leg stretches out behind you, into the air, toes reaching for the sky, shaking it out, stacking the hips, maybe circling it out, just letting it go. And then when you feel ready for pigeon on the left side, replanting those right toes back down. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale for pigeon, left knee behind left wrist, stretching that calf out across your mat. Releasing that right leg down. Inhale, lift your heart, both hips pointed forward, and then exhale, melt it down, letting your body be where it is. If more thoughts come up, maybe visualizing yourself holding a bunch of balloons, putting each thought in a separate balloon, and then seeing yourself let it go, watching it float away into the sky, released away from you. Breathing deeply, cultivating that space and flexibility in body, mind, and spirit. Using your breath work to anchor you in this moment. Taking deep breaths can help us conquer any challenge, no matter how intense or uncomfortable. Just like pigeon, if you can stay here and breathe deeply, you can tackle any obstacle that comes up in your day. Pressing into your hands, curling those right toes under, lifting that left leg up towards the sky. Three-legged dog, shaking that left leg out, maybe stacking the hips and circling it out. Whatever feels good. Planting those left toes back down on the mat, and then walking your feet up towards your hands, plopping that booty on down to your mat, bringing the soles of the feet together for bound ankle pose. If you'd like to stretch your hips some more, pull those feet in close. If you'd like to stretch your low back, push them out. Lift the heart, and then exhale, hinge it forward, letting your body be where it is. If you'd like to make this stretch more intense and deep, you can put your thumbs in between the soles of your feet and open them like you're reading a book. No judgment if your feet are a little bit dirty. It's totally okay. Maybe wiggle the toes, breathing deeply. Lifting your heart back up, stretching your legs out in front of you. Arms reach out beside you, heart is lifted, and then on an exhale, lower it down. Bringing your back down to your mat. If you need to scoot forward so that you're resting on your mat, please do so. Resting your arms by your hips. We're going to come into fallen tree. So bring the right sole of the foot to your left calf, releasing the knee down towards the side. Maybe bringing your arms up beside your ears like branches in the wind, or you can leave them by your hips. Just breathing here, gentle stretch. Even trees need to rest sometimes. Stretching that right leg back out. Maybe shaking out the legs, and then fallen tree on the other side, bringing the sole of the left foot to rest on that right calf. Letting that left knee fall towards the mat. Breathing here. Relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the jaw. Melting into your mat, enjoying this gentle stretch. And stretch your left leg out in front of you. Maybe another little wiggle or shake. Bringing your hands to rest beside your hips for Shavasana. Palms face up or face down, whatever calls to you today. Closing the eyes. Entering Shavasana with one exhale released out the mouth whenever you feel ready. Shavasana. Enjoy. You deserve it. Returning to this moment, wiggling the fingers and the toes, stretching your arms up overhead. Nice stretch, hugging in the knees, rolling over to either side, resting your cheek on your arm. Taking a moment to remind yourself how incredible you are, how strong and balanced and grounded you are, that you're more than enough, just as you are, just who you are. Pressing up to an easy seat when you feel ready. Bringing hands to heart center. The light and dark in me is honored and inspired by the light, dark, and sparkle in each of you. Namaste.